Okay, ladies and gentlemen, little sisters and brothers, today's video will be a quick, that's interesting video. Allow me to ask you a question, gentle strangers. Remember the video a long time ago when we discovered the HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, weather modifier was also being used to x-ray the entire Earth? You remember? They said it was to find natural resources. But because we looked at all information through the scriptures, we immediately said they were x-raying the earth to find their imprisoned angelic fathers. I pray thee to ask another question. Remember the scripture discovery when it said my God was going to stir up the Assyrian from his lair to come tear up the earth? You remember? It's the video where we discovered, using the example of a pressure cooker, mankind on top of the earth are stewing the Assyrians in their own juices by using the HAARP technology. Thus, why he is so pissed off. Another question, if I may. Remember in school how we were taught the earth is a giant iron rock with a solid core? But we know that that's a lie because my God told us the Assyrian walks the breadth of the entire earth, meaning he has free range movement on the inside of the earth. I can't hear your answers because this is a video. But if you remember those things, check this out. According to NBC News, under Deep Inside Earth, scientists find weird blobs and mountains taller than Mount Everest. April 23rd, 2019. Cutting to chases. Quote, there's no way to explore our planet's interior directly. The deepest hole ever drilled, the Kola Deep borehole in the Russian Arctic, reaches only 0.2% the way to the center. So even the best scientific maps didn't look much better than your middle school textbook cartoon showing an outer crust, an inner core, and a thick layer called the mantle in between. But that picture is changing. Researchers such as Barbara Romanowitch at the University of California, Berkeley, are using seismic, earthquake, waves to scan our planet's innards, much like doctors use ultrasound to peer inside patients. What they're seeing is full of complex detail, not a bland mineral hunk, but a rich and dynamic inner landscape. The mantle appears to be layered like an onion, with major transitions 250 miles and 410 miles down. At the 410-mile level, researchers recently identified a tremendous interior mountain range with peaks perhaps even taller than Mount Everest. Personal quote, recently we've discovered another change at about 1,000 kilometers. That's 600 ugly American miles. Depth, Lord Benovich says, stop, bingo. So as you can plainly hear, just as the scriptures attest in Job, my God made the earth with different foundations, meaning different levels. And as you also clearly heard, just as little as 400 miles deep, just like on top of the earth, inside the earth has mountains as well. But if you're anything like Little Miss Ivy and myself, the transition anomaly at 600 mile peak, it's the one that piques our interest the most. Before we get to that part, allow me to ask a couple of questions, gentle stranger. Remember our Syrian discovery in the scriptures? You know, not only were there at least 3 sets of them upon the earth at the same time, but most importantly, my God said he brought them up from the deep. Another question. Remember our African Area 51 understanding when Wikipedia told us, not Baptized and Scribe told us, but Wikipedia told us, no one, not even the mighty Greeks, Romans, Arabs, or Mr. Charlie, and you know that got to be something, not Mr. Charlie, went into Western, Central, or Southern Africa, but instead, they all waited at a specific location near Libya, and the new and fresh people / slaves were brought out to them. You remember when they admitted the new and fresh clones were brought to the outskirts to assimilate with the other Africans. Right, Miss Ivy. Right. Last quick question before we move on. Remember when Job told us the Rephaim were created under the waters? I can't hear your answers because this is a video. But if you remember those discoveries, tell me, what would be the compound probability, actuarial science, the odds that out of all the land mass of the earth, this, quote, the layers are ridden by rising plumes of hot rock, and beneath the plumes, two strange blobs, roughly the size of Australia, bob atop the core. Listen up. One beneath Africa and one under the Pacific Ocean. Personal quote. More and more, we're understanding it's not the standard cartoon picture, Romanowitz says. For geodynamicists, it's a complete revolution. Example, bingo. Wikipedia tells us the Pacific Ocean is the Earth's deepest ocean, hence the deep. So I asked, what would be the unfunky possibility that there are unexplained blobs under the exact same cloning locations we have already discovered with backup, and we not be on the right track? Interesting. Yes? No? Indoor.